Hi everyone, welcome to this webinar brought to you by Bursa Malaysia and managed by our company Lifecham. My name is Alia and I will be the moderator for today's session. So our title for today is Sarawak Investment Themes. As the investment landscape evolves, new opportunity often arise in a place you might not expect it. One such opportunity is Sarawak, a region on the brink of transformative growth. With the leadership of Sarawak Premier, the state is charting an ambitious path which reshapes its economy and creates exciting possibilities for investors. What does this mean for you? How can you identify the right opportunities in Sarawak involving market? So today, we are honored to have Mr. Johnny Tiong, the founder of Gain Venture, to share a valuable insight on Sarawak economic vision, emerging opportunities, and how can you strategically position your investment to capitalize on this growth. So before we proceed, allow me to make a short disclaimer. Please be reminded that everything that has been shared for today's session is mainly for educational purpose and by no way we are providing you advice to buy or sell any securities. You are 100% liable if you make any investment decision. Now, allow me to briefly introduce our speaker for today. And he is none other than Mr. Johnny Tiong. Mr. Johnny is an engineer and also an investor since his graduating in 2013. He has been an active investment blogger since 2015. Critical thinking and logic analysis are often his analysis method. By utilizing fundamental analysis, technical analysis, and projection analysis, he is able to guide many of his students to invest profitably in the stock market. Please welcome Miss Johnny. Hi, good morning, Miss Johnny.
Hi, morning, Alia.
Morning.
Thanks for the invitation and also the introduction.
Welcome.
Yep. So I'm going to take the screen from now on. Okay. So just a check. Can everyone see my screen? Alia, can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Wait. Oh, you should be able to now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay. Thanks, Alia. So good morning to everyone. So today, I'm going to talk about, Sarawak Investment Theme, which I think Sarawak is a state. So there's a lot of attention is currently in Sarawak. So in this webinar, I'm going to talk about what are the opportunities that lies ahead because there's a lot of new policy coming in and there's a lot of investment strategies from Sarawak. So as investors, how can we take advantage of this? So that's mainly what my topic is about today. So, okay, so without further ado, now it's 10:09. So let's start our webinar for today. So hope everyone is getting excited and pumped up for today. So first, I would like to reintroduce Sarawak. So why do I say reintroduce Sarawak? Because as a Sarawakian myself, when I come to Semenanjung, I was often asked about questions on Sarawak. First question, definitely everyone is very familiar with this question. Hey, you guys stay on the tree, is it? Okay, that's the first question that I received from my Semenanjung colleagues. I mean, when I'm studying in Semenanjung here, so I was quite puzzled because, takkan, okay, takkan Semenanjung don't have TV. You must have seen some documentaries about the Sarawakians. They are not, of course, definitely, we are not staying on top of the tree. We are not staying on the tree. We stay in landed house, just like everybody do. Okay, second thing. This is a picture just recently shared by my friends about this. Then some people just joke with me and say, "Hey, you guys use crocodile to travel, is it? There's no proper cars, there's crocodile, is it?" Definitely, we have crocodile, and our crocodile is not so friendly. We cannot just ride on them and become a transport. It will bite us back. So just like Semenanjung people have cars, we have motorcycles. Okay, so these are just pictures are only for illustration. So when we talk about Sarawak, definitely you talk about a lot of noodles, a lot of this is kampua, my favorite kampua noodle. We have this is Tuak, which is our Iban's uh this is Harama, which is a kind of beer, okay, which they ferment and they produce their own beer. So this is laksa, Sarawak laksa. There's often a lot of arguments about laksa. Which laksa is the best? Is it Penang, Sarawak, Johor? As a Sarawakian, definitely I support my own laksa. Okay, and this is the kolomi, which I think everyone is quite familiar with the kolomi also. So definitely, when you talk about Sarawak, at this moment, I think because of the technology advancement, I think the first few pictures it shouldn't be in your head lah. So when we talk about Sarawak, I think mostly people talk about hornbill because hornbill is our Sarawak's symbolized the animal that symbolize Sarawak. Okay, and another thing, when we talk to people about Sarawakian, and I think all the Sarawakian we are quite proud is because of this harmony picture. So you can imagine in a coffee shop, we have a lot of stores. We have Malay stores, we have Chinese stores. So all of us are able to sit down together and have a lunch. If you see in this picture, we have Malays, we have Chinese. I think we have Ibans also. So it's the harmony thing, how we can get around. It's just about respecting each other. And then this thing had been already in our blood since we are born. So when we see this phenomena, it's a very natural thing. So when it's natural in our thing, it's already in our blood. So we just respect each other. Okay. Okay, so this is what I want to introduce my Sarawak. Okay, so this is just some facts and figures about Sarawak. So if you go from the Google map, so Sarawak is actually located in the East Malaysia, in which you see the island. This island is called Borneo. So Borneo is constituted of two countries. One is Malaysia. In Malaysia we have two states, Sabah and also Sarawak. And then below we have Kalimantan. Okay, we have the Kalimantan. And just some facts about Sarawak. So this is the area, 124 million kilometers square. Then the population, so division, district and sub-district. I remember when I was young, there's always like the division, the district and the sub-district is always changing. But I think now they're already like nailed down to the 12 divisions, 45 district and also sub-district of 24. So these are just some facts. So if you ever been to Sarawak, thank you for coming. Thank you for boosting up the tourism. And then definitely, I think Sarawak will be thankful to you also. So these are the 12 divisions that we have. Where from the right to the left, we have Limban, Miri, Bintulu, Kapit, Muka, Sibu, Sarike, Beton, Sri Aman, Samarahan, Serian, and also Kuching. So if you notice Kapit, because all of the mountains area is at the backbone, the mountains are at this area, the Kapit area. So because of if you're aware of the news now, there's some flood happening around in Bintulu and also Cebu. So there's always a saying from my parents and from my older generation, my elderly, if Kapit had been raining for around like 2 or 3 days, so the water from the mountain, from the hulu, will be coming down. So like places like Cebu, Bintulu will be having a lot of flood. Our cities will be flooded with water. Okay, just some geography knowledge. So yeah, this is the 12th division. So if I see the numbers here, I arrange it based on the population. So we have Kuching with the most people in it, and you can see the advancement of Kuching is there. Okay, you can see there's a lot of new things. We have the ART, Autonomous Rail Transit. We have the KUTS. A lot of new buildings are there, and even the symbolic building of Sarawak is there, the Dun, whereby we have the government buildings are there. So Kuching is always the favorite place for people to travel, and there's a lot of opportunities now in Kuching. Okay, a lot of opportunities now in Kuching. Second is about Miri. Miri is also a city, the second highest population in Sarawak. So Miri is the oil and gas town. Okay, it's an oil and gas town. So the Petronas have operations there. We have Shell operations there, and a lot of production sharing contract PSCs, natural gas, and also oils are there. So Miri is also one of the countries, one of the states with a lot of investment coming in for oil and gas purposes. Okay, third one for Cebu. Cebu is with the third population, my hometown. So for Cebu, when we talk about Cebu, what is there in Cebu? We have the shipbuilding industries are there. We have palm oil industry, and also we have the wood timber industries in Cebu. And we have a lot of kopitiam. We have a lot of coffee shop. Food are very cheap. People are very nice. Wow, the food is the best of in this town. Okay, number four, Bintulu. So when you talk about Bintulu, it's also an industrial area. There's a lot of Samalaju Industrial Park, and there's some other industrial parks there. Okay, so when we talk about Bintulu, we have a lot of industry there. Oil and gas industry is there also, and we have aluminium industry. We have chemical industry there in Bintulu. So when I was working in Bintulu, I mean, was there for a few months. So you will often see in Bintulu weekends are quiet because there's a lot of people coming in to work on weekdays from Monday to Friday. Saturday, Sunday, then they'll go back to their respective hometown, either in other place or in Semenanjung or in other states. So Bintulu weekends are a bit quiet if compared to weekdays. Okay. So number five, Samarahan, which is coming up. There's a lot of opportunities in Samarahan also. It's just like Kuching expanded to Samarahan. Okay. So we have Serian. Serian is a place, I think when I go there when I was small, so not many things there, which is 10 years ago. But now I think there are a lot of opportunities there. Government is going there to build a lot of facilities there. Okay. And a lot of agro parks there. So number seven, Muka. Muka is a place where it's near to the beach, near to the sea, so a lot of seafood is there. I remember when I was young, weekends my parents would drove us to Muka, not to fish, definitely to go and buy. I mean the local products, the fish, the prawns, and also the crabs. Wow. Oh, sorry for those who are Fossa, sorry. I mean just my memories are coming out. Muka, then we have Betong. Sarike is just nearby Cebu, Sriaman, Limban, and also Kapit. So these are the 12 12 divisions. We call it divisions, okay? And then under the divisions, then we have the district. For example, for Cebu, we have Cebu, Kanawi, and also Selangau. Yeah. Okay, so these are the things that's just to brought everyone to know about Sarawak. Okay, and next we talk about this list of Sarawak leaders since 1963. I think you're all aware that 1963, 16th of September, whereby Sabah and Sarawak, East Malaysia, we joined Malaysia. We joined Malaya and become Malaysia. And this is just some refresh of the history. So since then, these are all of our Sarawak leaders. So all these are chief ministers. I mean, the first one we have Tan Sri Stephen Kalon. Okay, so for 3 years, from 1963 to 1966. So Tan Sri Tawi, sorry. So Tan Sri Patinggi Abdul Rahman for 10 years, and we have I think this is one of the popular faces that we remember, and from before I was born until now, our late Abdul Taimamut serving for 32 years, serving the citizens. And also, I think one of my favorite, Adnan Satem, just for 2 or 3 years before he was before he passed away. And then currently is our beloved Abanjo. Okay, so it's from 2017 until currently. So just 2022, so the chief minister position was changed to Premier of Sarawak. So now Abanjo is our Sarawak Premier, and after that, there's a lot of other opportunities born from Abanjo. I can see he himself as a very creative leader. And then since he's on board in Sarawak, I think a lot of things are happening. I think a lot of more opportunities, a lot of more things will be happening. I think all this is because of his love for Sarawak, for the state. If you really love a state, if you really love something, if you really love a place, you will strive you will strive your best to make sure that this state is known in the eye of the world. So I think that's what is happening to Sarawak now. Since Abanjo takes place, I think he have a vision to turn Sarawak into a better place, and it's well known in the world, in the eye of the world. So he's attracting a lot of investors to come in, bringing opportunities of work to the local people. Yeah, so that's later what I'm gonna share about that in my next few slides in today's session. Okay, so we reintroduce Sarawak, so hopefully everyone had a good view and good interpretation. Not staying on the tree, we have okay. So that's the most important thing. And yeah, the second thing, after that we're gonna go through Sarawak's report card. So how is their financial, how they are doing. Okay, so currently, as the point was speaking, so let's look at the Sarawak's development. So in terms of economic, on the left hand side, you saw there are some articles here, and the right hand side is a Sarawak new energy business. So on the left hand side, let's just focus on this one. So we have Abanjo highlights bioenergy. So I think last year Abanjo and a few of our ministers went to the Drax, which is I think is a power company in UK. So because Sarawak there's a few coal plants which is still in operation. I know, but as far as I remember, there's two or three. It's a Jingat and a few others. So they are currently using coal to produce energy. So with the visit to this Drax company in UK, so because Drax is already they have the technology and the expertise to not to use coal, they are using biomass to convert it to energy. Okay, so with the visit, I think something will be happening from there because they will eventually replace the coals. Okay, so the bioenergy to replace coal, one of the sector in economic. Second thing from here is Sarawak Green Energy Hub. Okay, so I think currently in order for us to produce hydrogen, there's a lot of colors for hydrogen. We have green, we have gray, we have blue. But what I want to emphasize here is green hydrogen hub. Green hydrogen, meaning to say your source to power up or the source to change to produce hydrogen is from a green source. For example, Sarawak, I think more than 66% of our electricity is generated from hydropower. So hydropower itself is a green technology, it's a green energy. So our cost to produce the hydrogen will be lower. So that's why Sarawak has a good opportunity to become a green hydrogen hub. Then the next question, what can hydrogen be used for? Is there any market for hydrogen? Okay, currently hydrogen is used in a lot of industry. For example, in chemical industry, for you to produce ammonia, fertilizer. So imagine you if you are an industry, so you want to produce fertilizer, you definitely need hydrogen. So you're already purchasing the currently hydrogen is produced from is produced from the uh it's not from a clean source, it's just from the hydrocarbon. Okay, sorry. Yeah, you're purchasing the hydrogen from produced from the not from green. I mean from the existing okay the existing hydrogen production is not from green. Okay, it's from natural gas, it's from the hydrocarbon source. So you're already purchasing with a low price from the hydrocarbon source hydrogen. But if you want to purchase, you want to replace your current natural, I mean your current source of hydrogen with the new green hydrogen, the main concern will be the price. So I think currently uh the the price to produce a green hydrogen, I think the price is still around more than USD $5 per ton, which is above the current price. So in order for us to get match the price to be competitive, the green hydrogen need to be below USD $3 or $2, okay, per ton. Okay, so with this, I think Sarah have a good opportunity because of the green source. Our electricity is relatively low if compared to Semenanjung because we're coming from the hydropower source. So we have an opportunity there for green hydrogen. But then, just is there any market? Can we find people who are willing to purchase a little bit of premium price for hydrogen? So that's the question now. Okay. So the third one, hydropower to industry. Like I mentioned just now, Sarawak, more than 66% generated from hydropower. So from the hydropower to industry. So if your industry is talking a lot about renewable source, renewable energy, then Sarawak is a good place for you to go. For your company's ESG, whereby your natural source is coming, sorry, your electricity is coming from natural source, hydropower, renewable energy, which will boost up your ESG rating. this is the same as Semenanjung or in other place. A lot of companies are installing solar power, solar panels because it's renewable. Okay. Same. If you go to Sarawak, you have hydropower. No need to install your own solar. You have hydropower for you. Okay. Next is to boost up the natural gas to industry. So to boost our domestic gas usage to 30%. So these are all of our energy source. And then our new energy business, we have renewable energy, we have bioenergy, hydrogen, CCUS, carbon capture, utilization, and storage. CCUS is not a simple thing. You can see the wordings are quite simple: carbon capture, utilization, and storage. But for you to capture the CO2, the carbon dioxide, there's a lot of process. So it's a very complicated process, and I think the whole world is working towards that direction. So we have natural gas, we have energy efficiency, we have synthetic fuels, and also green mobility. So these are the new energy business that we have. Okay. Second thing about the infrastructure. So infrastructure, we have a game-changing projects redefine connectivity. So when I was small, I always think the connectivity in Sarawak is very difficult. If I want to go to one place, the quality of the road is not as good as other countries, okay, or other states also because of our terrain. Sarawak is there's a lot of swamps and also a mountain area, so it's actually quite difficult to have a good, I mean, a very good infrastructure. But then things changed. So the basic necessities such as clean water, road, electricity to be available and accessible to every households and industry. But if I look at the reports, the Sarawak facts and figures, actually the clean water everyone is accessible already. For the electricity, we have run is already going to the urban area. We've reached around 99.8% of the urban cities. I mean the urban areas. I mean Ulu place with electricity. So things are there. So we just need to maintain and increase to 100%. Okay, we're on the way there. And then next, the infrastructure. Before this, I heard a lot of comments about the pain Borneo, which pain, sakit pain Borneo, but now it's pan Borneo. It's already quite, it's already there. People are already using it. So there's still some testing just to make sure that the road can be used properly. So current progress, if we are speaking, is 99.62%. So the target completion is by 31st of October 2025. So these are just some snapshots from our Pan Borneo. So yeah, 99.62%. So it will cut short a lot of journey from Sarawak to Bintulu, Sarawak to Kuching. So yeah, and extended to Sabah. So you want to have a road trip from Sarawak to Sabah, can be done. Okay, so that's about our infrastructure. So next about digital. Digital is one thing that we cannot avoid or we cannot escape. So with the leadership, now they talk about Sarawak's digital plan. So a lot of big data, a lot of IoTs, artificial intelligence, blockchain technologies. The technologies are there, but just to bring it to Sarawak, and how can we attract investors to coming to Sarawak to train the local people so that we are techno savvy, we have enough knowledge in the technology, and also to help the farmers and also the entrepreneurs in terms of digital economy from the farm, okay, from the farm to the market and to international market. So that can be done with digital economy, in which Sarawak is now also focusing on this digital economy also. We have a lot of transformation agendas coming for Sarawak also in terms of the digital technology. Okay, and I think this is a bit the last point, the development, which I think is a bit deep in the heart, because Sarawak is now trying to be aggressive, where we have heightened emphasis on regional autonomy. For example, this reason we talk about, I'm not gonna delve into so much about Petronas and Petros, but just on the surface a little bit. So now Sarawak, especially under leadership of our Abanjo, so we are having a lot of increased discussions, a lot of hits are going up and negotiations with the federal government, get like the resource control and revenue sharing. I think the reason one is a Petros and also Petronas about the Sarawak aggregation, the gas aggregatorship. So I think there are more similar things that will be happening, but definitely we do not want two states, I mean Peninsula and Sarawak, to be hurt by these all these discussions. We still want harmony around each other, just like the first picture that I show, kopitiam, we have a lot of harmony people coming on. But then things, sometimes things need to be changed for the betterment of both place. Okay. Oh, I so likes there. Okay. All right. Then, okay. So those are the things I do not want to touch sensitive about that. So I will just avoid talking more about that. Okay. Then, okay. Now we look into Sarawak's revenue since 2014 to 2022. So if you look at the chart here, there's two charts on the left and on the right. So these are coming out from the audited report. Audited report. I also was quite surprised. Every state you have your own audited report, audited by Putrajaya. Okay, so these are the audited reports from Sarawak, for Sarawak, sorry. So you can see here. So from 2014 until 2018, so you can see these are the source of the revenue. We have the dividend. This is the pampasan, okay, premium tanah, the land, and also the investment that you have. And this is a royalty. So you can see this is the total number. So on 7.6 billion, 5.7, 4.5, 5.1, and then 5.4. And then 2018, 5.5. And then starting from 2019, you can see a minyak mentah and gas cecair asli. There's an orange thing over here. So this is the thing that we Sarawak is asking for some tax, okay, from the Semenanjung, especially from Petronas about this. So it's already pumping in, coming in. So 2020 we have 9.3 billion. So 2021 6.2, and then 2021 is 6.2, and then 2022 is 10.2 billion, or 10 billion to be short. Okay, so if you look at the orange thing, the orange bar, so it's already increasing. So the point that what I want to say here is actually the highest income recently is a crude oil and natural gas. They'll continue to become one of the major revenue for Sarawak, definitely. Okay, just look at the statistic here. In 2020, it's already the highest. 2021, 2022 is already the highest revenue income. Okay, so the revenue basically it double up because mainly due to oil and gas, oil and natural gas from Petronas. Okay, so yeah, I foresee that for the incoming, our revenue gonna be strong because we have natural gas and also oil. Okay, so next, after we talk about revenue, we talk about the Federal Reserve. So how is equivalent to how much cash that you have. So the breakdown of the cash is account hasil disatukan and also account amanah disatukan. Not to go into that deep, we just look at the total, the jumlah, the total number that we have. By the way, this information is extracted from the audited annual report. Okay, so you can see we are quite Sarawak is quite healthy. We maintain a healthy cash position around like average is around like 22, 23 million. Okay, so then we compare a bit, talk a bit about Sarawak GDP and compared to Malaysia GDP. So whenever you saw from this chart, whatever going up, going down, it's the same. So meaning to say Malaysia, how Malaysia perform, Sarawak also perform. So Sarawak had been growing in tandem with Malaysia. So we look at this chart from the left to right, and the green bars are actually the Malaysia GDP measured at the current price. You have the blue ones is the Sarawak GDP. So yeah, so when it goes down, when Malaysia GDP goes down, Sarawak also goes down. So when Malaysia goes up, Sarawak also follows to go up. Okay, and then like we look at the line chart here, the growth rate. So I think in some years, Sarawak overperform if compared to Malaysia. A few reasons is because I think of the investing strategy and also the new energy transition that we have, the state have for Sarawak. So you can see here, in 2022, whereby there's a growth, Malaysia is 15, but Sarawak will reach until 24. Okay, so these are the things that the main message I want to say here is if Malaysia perform well, Sarawak is gonna perform well also. Okay, and then we look at the GDP sector. Okay, um, Sarawak GDP by sector. Which sector actually contribute a lot to Sarawak's revenue? It had been services. Yeah, services. So if you look at the chart here, I mean the bar charts, we have agriculture, we have mining and quarrying, we have manufacturing, we have construction, we have services, we have import duties. So import duties is just a small part. So when we look at this, you can see all the high buildings. Okay, I call it buildings, the towers, the green ones and the blue ones. Okay, the green ones are actually the services, the blue ones are the manufacturing. Okay, so the blue line here is actually the total. So I tried to dig into what are the services. What does services mean? So services actually a lot of activities which are not the production of physical goods. Healthcare, we have education, we have finance, we have transportation, communication. So in this case, I think finance is a big part. So most of our services, most of our income, our sector services is there. So when services is there, so meaning to say there's a lot of cash, there's a lot of opportunities in cash, opportunities in the service sector. And next is the manufacturing factor. Sarawak is manufacturing a lot of things. If we are manufacturing aluminiums from pea metal, then we're also manufacturing a lot of palm oil products, okay, palm oil products, and also chemicals. So these are the manufacturing, okay. So then we talk about Sarawak exports and imports because this is where our money comes in, our revenue comes in, and then the money that we have will be translated into our Federal Reserve. Okay, so yeah, so Sarawak is actually a net export country. Sorry, next export state should be a state, not a country. So when we talk about this, so when we are net export state, when we export a lot of things, so we have a lot of income. Okay, but at the same time, we're also buying a lot of things from other states also. So, but all in all, we are a net export state. So the major exports of Sarawak commodities are LNG. We export a lot of liquefied natural gas because Sarawak is rich with the source, LNG source, crude petroleum, palm oil, aluminium, ferroalloys, sawlogs, sawn, timber, pepper, and also rubber. I think if you're familiar with Sarawak's geography, yeah, we have a lot of natural gas and also oil. Then we have a lot of timber, so that's for export, and that's actually required in a lot of industry. So if you look at the chart from 2018 until 2024, so these are the export. Is the export are the dark red, and also the import is the things that we import from others, okay. So okay, this is a good chart. I think it somehow, if there are any entrepreneurs there listening to this webinar, a lot of opportunities can be taken from this chart. I'm not gonna go, I'm just touch briefly about that. Okay, so we look at Sarawak export on the left here is about export in 2023. Below there is an import in 2023. Right hand side is a Sarawak export 2024 and also import in 2024. So we look at the export first. So the one, if you see, I've put some wordings here. So minerals and lubricants have been the biggest revenue contribution. This is the highest thing that we have been exporting out. Okay, mineral fuels, lubricants, and related minerals, which is equivalent to what we have. The natural gas, okay, and then the aluminium sector, yeah. So these are the biggest chunk in the pie, which is 60%, grows to 62% in 2024. So the import are the one I mentioned that just now about the opportunity for the entrepreneurs out there. So import, we actually import a lot of things. So highest chunk is a machinery and transport equipment, 29%, maintain around 29% in 2023 and 2024. So besides that, okay, we are exporting a lot. For example, the food, we're also importing a lot of food from other states. So if you are aware, Sarawak is still not a net export state for food. So to cater for the population in Sarawak, we still don't have enough food. So one of the vision that in Sarawak have in the budget 2025, in a few years time, we want to produce more paddy field, want to produce more agro parks to grow our own vegetables so that we can be a net export. Okay, so yeah, so second point, Sarawak major import is the machinery and transport equipment to help with the transition agenda. Because since we want to do energy transition, there's a lot of machines and also transport equipment required to help us to get there. Okay, So this is another point. And beside net export for mineral fuels, vegetable oils, and manufactured goods, Sarawak is importing the rest. Yeah. So vegetable oils here means that from the palm oil source, there's a lot of land, palm oil fields, palm oil plantation, and mills in Sarawak, in which we are exporting the palm oils. Okay. Then the rest of it, we're importing the rest. For example, food, I mentioned just now, beverages and tobacco. Um, yeah, the rest are mostly we import. Okay. So this is the audited report for the revenue and also expenditure. So besides 2019, whereby we see the red bars are higher, taller than the green ones, and also 2021. So you will see an A here, meaning to say it had been audited. Okay, so besides 2019 and also 2021, our revenue is actually higher than the expenditure, meaning to say there are some surplus. So if we have some surplus, we have cash. Okay. So in 2022, it's also audited. 2023, this is based on the latest Sarawak facts and figures that we have. Okay, so in 2023, from the report, facts and figures report, we're generating 13 billion and we're spending 11, around 12 billion. Okay, so main reason for 2019 and 2021, I think everybody knows. First is due to the global economic slowdown, and in 2021 is the COVID, which the after effect in 2019 and 2020, the end of 2019 and the whole 2020. So start facing a lot of economic disruption, leading to revenue decrease. So in 2021, whereby we need to spend a lot to spur the economic. So yeah, on the recovery measures. And next, so we talk about the report card. What are the sectors that might benefit? So what's next for Sarawak? Okay, so we're looking at global macroeconomic. Now we're going to zoom into each sector and also the stocks later at the last section. So yeah, this is the first what's next for Sarawak. I break it down to 3 points. So first is about Sarawak budget. So Sarawak budget was a late it's normally Malaysia's budget was announced on October. So Sarawak is around November, the state budget. So it's similar like the Malaysia budget. Okay, so the theme for Sarawak budget 2025 is together building a prosperous future. Okay, so there are 8 strategic thrusts with 5 goals. So these are the 8 thrusts which I get from the report. Okay, so there are 5 goals. Basically, it's about the people. Is how can Sarawak improve or build more infrastructure so that everyone can benefit. Everyone can benefit here, meaning to say Sarawak provide job opportunities, and also how can the standard of living will be increased. Okay. So the last one, transforming Sarawak into a developed region and green hub. Okay, so can look through your own. I'm just gonna summarize a bit in terms of what we have. Okay, so our budget, the revenue are estimated around 14.2 billion. But before I forget, this is actually the highest. Later we look at the chart. This is actually the highest budget ever in Sarawak history. Okay, 2025. So is estimated the revenue is 14.2 billion, whereby 6.2 is coming from tax revenue. So this is a breakdown of the tax revenue. We have the SST tax, royalty tax, forest royalty tax, mining royalties tax, okay? And 7 billion coming from non-tax revenue. So non-tax revenue is the one that we see just now from the chart. Just now we have coming from dividend, cash compensation, interest income. Yeah. So this is actually the total revenue that we expect to receive, 14.2 billion. So 14.2 billion, how are we spending the money? Okay, so now we have 13 point, okay, ordinary expenditure is 13.7, so whereby 4.9 is OPEX. OPEX is like our day-to-day job, the salaries, supplies and services. These are the procurement of assets. Those are the OPEX. Okay, those are the OPEX for our day-to-day use for Sarawak. So another 8.8 is a development fund account. Okay, so total up is around 13.7. So okay, this is something that I want to share. The chart here. So there are 8 thrusts. So the number is 14.7 billion. So when I go through line by line, so this is the numbers I gathered, which is a bit different from the 13.7, but it's okay. We just need to know why. Because it's actually different because due to the budget, some of the budget are coming from budget and also from alternative funding. So there are some discrepancy of the numbers there. Okay. So type of fund we have budget and also alternative funding. So this is the amount. So if you look at the two columns on the right, I talk about build or develop or physical, meaning to say the money is spent to build something tangible that we can see, we can feel. So this is based on my own interpretation. Repeat, based on my own interpretation. So this build develop is build something physical so that it will. So when we want to build something physical, there's a lot of work. There's a lot of uh, materials required, manpower to change, to change to build something. Okay. So the other one is the others like grant and subsidy. This grant and subsidy is just when you for your research. For example, okay, the strategic trust for number 5 is the one like for the social economic for the people. You have the like students, you get some allowance for that. So this is what I mean by grant or subsidy. So I would like to focus at this the build, develop, and also physical, because this 12.8 million is gonna turn into a product construction site or a building, okay, or an industrial park, whereby this is something tangible. So in order for you to build something, you fork out 12.8 billion. For example, the Palingson, easiest one we talk about, let's say the industrial park. So when we want to build some industrial park, definitely there's a lot of money required to build something. So we need to have a lot of construction companies to come in to build the facility, to maintain the building. So meaning to say this 12.8 is actually opportunity there, because they are building something physical. We need construction to build, and we need some facilities there to maintain. So this 12.8 is the one that is now I know. Now we know in Sarawak, 12.8 billion is out there in the market for to build something else. So we just need to see from this 12.8 billion, what are the potential companies that will benefit. Okay, something tangible. Okay, and with that, so this is just now we already have one chart about like 2017 to 2023. So now I just expand a bit. Okay. 2017 until 2022 is audited. 2023 is based on the budget. 2024, 2025 also. So if you see, we're in a uptrend. We're in the uptrend for our revenue also and our expenditure. So with 2025, we can see a potential earning of around 500 million, because the high 500 million is actually 14.2 minus 13.7, we have a 500 million of surplus, which eventually will be muscle will enter our Federal Reserve also. So the point of Sarawak budget here is we can see how much we are using our money, how much we are going to use, how much we want Sarawak to grow, how much Sarawak want the state to grow. So they are splashing a lot of money. Okay. And the expenditure, what are they used for? It's mostly about the infrastructure. How do we benefit the citizens of Sarawak? Okay. So all in all, it's growing in tandem. But there's also some, when I talk to my friends and also some colleagues in Sarawak, so is there any changes recently about Sarawak? What do you see? What are the changes that they see? Mostly they say nothing much happened. They also know about that Sarawak, there's a lot of agenda going on, and I just tell them, you wait and see, give for a few years, 4 or 5 years, then you will see what are the difference from the day you tell me nothing. You see 5 years ahead, you're gonna feel the difference. Just be patient. We're gonna see it, because a lot of money is going out. Okay, now it's still the prelim stage, meaning to say some of them are still doing feasibility studies. They are some start to do some construction, but not all are. I mean, it's still beginning. It's just the beginning. So we wait. Okay. So second thing, what's next for Sarawak? Score. Sarawak Corridor of Renewable Energy. So we have a regional development areas. So score here is actually consists the red ones inside here. Okay. So it cross a lot of districts: Limban, Miri, Bintulu, Sibu, Kapit. These are the things I can remember when I see on the map. So these are all one of the renewable energy, one of the aspects that we can look into the Sarawak Energy Hub. Okay, so oops, there is okay. Okay, it's supposed to come to this slide. Okay, so Sarawak corridor of renewable energy. So Sarawak have been investing 123 billion for around 435 projects. 123 billion for 435 projects until June 2024. This is from the statistic. So if you can see 123 billion. So meaning to say Sarawak is really getting aggressive on this renewable energy business. They mean business in renewable energy sector. Okay. So this is the investment in the score. So if you look at the chart below here, it's basically the distribution of the money, the investment based on the district. We see Bintulu and Samaraju is taking up the huge portion. I think it's more to like around more than 80% of the amount. Okay, these are all cumulative. Okay, it's not year by year, it's cumulative number. So you can see the chart the table here. Bintulu Samalaju is already taken most of the investment amount. With Tanjung Manis, we have Muka, we have Sibu, Miri, Serike, Kapit, Limban, and Lawas. For Serike, Kapit, and Limban and Lawas is just basically for some small projects. The big project, the industrial parks are happening in Bintulu and Samalaju. Okay, you can see the gap. There's a lot of gap. Chemical industry, aluminum industry, there are some more investments are coming in, ports coming in. Okay, so yep. And yeah, the third one, Sarawak's aspiration in energy transition. So currently, 2025, I think my data is as of 2024. So Sarawak is producing 5.2 gigawatt of energy. So with around 65, 66% coming from hydropower, which I mentioned in our webinar just now, is coming from hydropower. 66% from hydropower. We have a few dams, Batak Air Dam and also some other dams in Sarawak. So Sarawak target to increase the renewable energy capacity to 15 gigawatt by 2035. So from 5 to 15. You'll be thinking whether is it possible, but based on the data that I have, yeah, it's possible. Okay, so these are their aspiration in energy transition. First, they want to achieve 15 gigawatt of renewable energy. Okay, renewable energy. So meaning to say all those coal plant, diesel plant, they want to decommission. They want to decommission. They want to stop the operation. They want to switch it to completely renewable. So 15 gigawatt is one of the target for Sarawak. Okay, by 2035. So we look at the breakdown. This is how I look at it. Let's say 5.2 is as of now, today, 2025. Okay, so another 5 in the next 5 years until 2030. So we can get 10. Another 5 gigawatt until 2035. So total 555, we got 15 gigawatt. So that's my analogy. So yeah, so to capitalize on energy transport projects, so Sarawak is already talking about green energy, a green hydrogen hub. So they have the export to South Korea and Japan with an annual production of 240 KTPA, kiloton per annum. So green hydrogen, we produce green hydrogen, we're going to export to South Korea and also to Japan. Okay, we're going to produce 240 KTPA, go to South Korea, Japan for the industry. Okay, so another two is actually electricity export. Once we have the electricity, we have generate renewable energy, we're going to export to 1 gigawatt to Singapore and also to Peninsular Malaysia. So how we're going to export in those things are not clear yet, but then this is the data that I got. So now when the world is talking about renewable energy, okay, the source, the natural source that we have. Sarawak is full of resources. We have a lot of land, we have water, we have natural gas. Okay, so those are very important components for Sarawak. We use the nature, want to benefit the nature also, benefit the rest of the world also. So for the energy, okay, I'm not sure whether everyone heard about energy trilemma. So take a read about that energy trilemma. I think that is one of the important issues that everyone is facing, energy trilemma. Okay, so the announced projects up to 2030, from the current 5.2 gigawatt until 2030, these are the projects have been announced. I just go through one by one. So 2025, we have a 50 megawatt solar in Batang Air. Okay, so 2026, 500 megawatt solar in Baram. Okay, we're gonna have a solar panel in Baram. I'm not sure is it for floating solar or just solar. So worth to check for that. So we already okay. This is the coal plant, Sejinggat. We already have, I think we have 2 or 3 coal plants I mentioned just now. So 210 megawatt of coal will be decommissioning in Sejinggat. Okay. So 2028 we have a 2 gigawatt of CCGT, combined cycle gas turbine in Miri and Samalaju. So 2029, one of the biggest, 1.3 gigawatt of hydropower in Baleh, and one of the one of the division, one of the districts. And in 2030, we have 1 gigawatt of floating solar in Murum, and then 1 gigawatt of CCGT, combined cycle gas turbine in Kuching. So if you add up this number, is around like 5 gigawatt. Okay, so currently 5.2 until 2025. Another 5 years, we have another 5. So they just need to come up with another projects from 2031 until 2035. So I think this 15 gigawatt is achievable. So once we have this 15 gigawatt, then we can start to export. But definitely we need to cater for the industry in Sarawak first. So this provides a good opportunity and investment opportunity for other countries, so for other industries, if they want to invest in Sarawak. For example, I'm just throwing out ideas just based on my thinking. Data center. We talk a lot about the data center recently. We want to talk about in Johor, whereby electricity no problem, but the thing is you need to have a clean water source. Do we have enough water source in Johor to cater for the usage of the data center? I don't have the answer. I don't have the answer. But I'm definitely quite sure in Sarawak we have. Sarawak has. Okay. So just if let's say we do the data center in Sarawak, we have renewable energy source, we have clean water supply. So this might pose an opportunity. I mean, not only focus on the Semenanjung. Maybe Sarawak can have this facility. So just how can we promote or to get the sense out of the investor? Hey, how can we promote and say, come, let's do this in Sarawak? That thing, the tie, to tie the knot between the actual and also the plan. Someone need to do that. Someone need to do that because the vision is there. Okay, so this is Sarawak's aspiration in energy transition. Okay, so these are the 3 segments, the 3 points that we look at it. This is about the score. So, okay, next we look into the Sarawak stocks and analysis. I think sorry for the 1 hour. I think this is the one that everyone is interested. But definitely, I'm not going to go into one by one. Okay, but the thing I'm not gonna talk about is about the construction for Pan Borneo because it's already 99%. Okay, it's almost near to completion. Maybe it depends on the construction company. How is the milestone? I mean, how do they get the payment? Either is it through milestone payment, it's whereby you work certain percentage, 10%, 20%, 30%, I got the money coming in. Or is it milestone, a progressive milestone, meaning to say your scheduler, project schedule will go and do the calculation. Today we completed 5%. At this month, I completed 30% or like 15%. So I'm gonna quote 15% to ask for the client to pay to me. So I'm not sure which are they talking. Either is it progressive milestone or milestone payment. But for me, it's 99%. It's almost done. Not much money will be coming in from there. So why not we just look at other sectors? Okay, so we're looking into Sarawak related stocks. So if you see the chart here, I'm gonna talk about free cash flow. What is free cash flow? Free cash flow is actually the cash that you have after the operating cash from the operating activities after you minus off your investment. Okay, so this is the free cash flow. Free cash flow is actually like the free money that you have. So why is important? Because from my hypothesis, I hypothesize say that the company will be able to venture into technologies or invest in new technology. Free cash flow, meaning to say I have that money readily in my wallet. For example, now I go out, I have money in my wallet. I want to buy teh tarik ke, Maggi goreng ke, I want to buy something ke, Zeus coffee ke. That is the free cash flow that I have to, I want to buy what I can buy. If I don't have enough money in my wallet, I don't have enough free cash flow, I cannot buy. Okay, so why free cash flow is important? Because we are able to venture into technologies or invest in new ventures. So if your country, if a company have a lot of free cash flow, you can buy into other companies. Let's say there's a trend of, for example, data center. You want to venture into data center, or you want to do the cooling system for data center. If you have free cash flow, you can straight away go and talk to the company and buy over the company. Okay, you want to acquire other companies, or you want to expand your operation or improve its core offerings without relying heavily on the debt. Okay, so if you have free cash flow, you are free to do what you want. You do an analysis, you do an assessment, and see, oh, this is the trend, there's a market value to it, then you go, boom, you go and buy. Okay, so this is the definition of free cash flow. So from this chart, I'm looking into free cash flow. The positive free cash flow is the one that we want. Okay, so this is Sarawak related companies. So these are the homegrown Sarawak companies born in Sarawak. But definitely you see P Metal is not there, because P Metal is most of the operation is in Sarawak, but then the the feedstock is in Sarawak, but then some other things are not from Sarawak also. So these are purely from Sarawak. So we have Zecon, the construction. So if you see at KKB, CMSB, Pansa, SCIB, S-Cable, Kim Hin, Quality, ISO, industrial products and services, these are based on the segregation, the sector determined by Bursa. But for me, Zecon, KKB, CMSB, the industrial products and services are and construction are more or less similar. Okay, so the CCK, the consumer products and services, whereby we have a lot of fresh chicken. The poultry business is coming from CCK. The energy sector with Dayang, Perdana, Petra Energy. So energy is hugely being talked because of the Petronas Petros gas aggregatorship. So people are thinking that energy sector will be benefit from there. But so far, I think nothing will be changed. My own hypothesis and own assumption, nothing will be changed from there, because it depends on how Petros grow, because Petronas already also projected certain growth, and Dayang, because they are local because definitely when we have these local companies, more awards will be given to the local companies for them to grow. Okay, so Dayang, Perdana, Petra is already there, already growing with the same amount of expenditure. So when Petros take over the gas aggregatorship, I think the growth will be almost the same. It will be almost the same. Walaupun even though I thought a lot of people talk about, oh, this company is gonna benefit. For me, I think the growth is still the same. Okay, unless Petros, there's a lot of more projects coming in, then they'll benefit. Okay, and then we have plantation, Sarawak Plantation, SOP, Jayatiasa, Taan, Sarawak Plantation, WTK, Sarawak Oil Plantation. SOP and Sarawak Plantation is two different things. Sorry, this is Sarawak Oil Plantation. Okay, WTK, Arsawit, Subo. Okay, plantation. I'm gonna talk a bit about plantation later. Maybe just spare some time for plantation. Put it in the later. So with property or Naim and Ibraco. Ibraco is one of the stock that have been picking up this recently. Okay, related to a lot of sector. The infrastructure of the road, and also the KUTS in Kuching. Okay, can take a look at that. And with trading and services, we have the port, Bintulu Port, Harbour, and also Xingyang Group. Xingyang Group is a conglomerate. They had a lot of services. They had a lot of industry. So yeah, Bintulu Port is also one of the things that we can look into. And yeah, now we look at the free cash flow. I'm just gonna bring in my Excel in, because it's a bit, yeah. So I hope everyone can see my Excel chart. So let me just zoom into, okay, let's just look at the ones that without the negative. Zecon, you can see the line, all are positive. Okay, so meaning to say the free cash flow, the company is always, they always have cash, and the cash is growing. So you can take a look at that. CCCat is just, yeah, CCCat is a bit hard, is because it's a poultry business, it's a consumer business. So you need to invest or you need to buy in the feedstock. So it's a bit hard for consumer to have a high free cash flow. So that's normal. Dayang is going down a bit. Okay, Perdana also, Petra Energy also going down. KKB not so looking good. CMSP from going down and going up. So Pansar, okay, it's still in deficit. So SCIB, don't talk about that. Some issue happened before. So for Sarawak Cable, also not so looking good. Have been no free cash flow for the past few years. Kim Hin also not so good. Quality is the one doing the concrete and cement, so also not so looking good. ISO before this the name is Mindtech, and also due to the Serba dynamic punya issue, so can stay away. SOP. So the good ones if you can see in the plantation sector. Jatiasa, Taan, Sarawak Plantation, okay. WTK not so looking good. R Sawit not so good. Subor not so good. Naim okay growing because of a lot of properties coming in. Ibraco not so looking good. Yeah, Pintulu Port looking good. Harbour and also Singyang Group. For me, if I were to look into, I'll choose the good ones, the good free cash flow, because for a state or company to grow fast, you need to have a lot of free cash flow. Okay, so yeah, so we talk a bit on the plantation. Uh, Sabah is the state with a lot of palm oil mills. If you have a lot of palm oil mills, you have a lot of biomass. So for Sarawak, we are the largest plantation because our land is big. Sarawak land is big. We have highest plantation of palm oil. We have second largest palm oil mills in Sarawak in Malaysia. So you can imagine there's a lot of biomass in for the palm oil industry. I'm going to have a webinar about palm oil industry in the future with Busa also, so everyone can take a look at that. I think it's around June or July. I cannot remember. But okay, talking about this plantation, if you have a lot of biomass, so there are some technology to turn the biomass into energy. So that's why Abanjo and other ministers they went to visit Drax in UK, because with so many biomass we can pelletize it, we can make it to some other forms, and then we can burn and to generate electricity, to generate power. So there are some also other value added products coming from biomass, such as the sustainable aviation fuel. The world is talking about SAF. The whole world is talking about SAF, aviation fuel, the green fuel for the airplane, for the planes. So one of the feedstock for SAF, besides use cooking oil, we can also use from biomass. In this case, from EFB, from the palm oil industry. I think from the palm oil industry, there are still some studies on that whether can they really produce, but then there are some technology provider claim that they have been successful. Worth to look into that. But if it's successful, then meaning to say it's a good opportunity for the palm oil plantation companies to venture into this. I think in the Malaysia budget 2025, uh, our PMX, our Prime Minister, did mention that there's a collaboration between Petronas and also Sime Darby, Gatiria, SD Gatiria, formerly known as Sime Darby, to venture into research of aviation fuel, okay, from palm oil industry. You look at Petronas is energy producing company. Gatiria is palm oil industry. So if you marry both of them together, it's basically use the feedstock from palm oil to produce energy. So there are some opportunity from there that we can look into. But if let's say the technology really exists and is successful, then we look at these plantation companies in Sarawak because they have a lot of biomass. Currently for EFB, empty fruit bunch, they're just used for mulching, so not much usage from there. So if you can change the EFB, empty fruit bunch, into energy, into aviation fuel, to other value-added products, why not? You can earn more from the value-added products. The mulching is just to trap the water so that the water will not go away from the roots, and also to generate longer it will become like fertilizer. So if you can turn it into some value added products, why not? Why you want to use it as a mulch? Okay. So yeah, plantation is one sector that we can look into that, provided the technology is there to produce aviation fuel. It's proven. Okay. So another thing, it's okay. The state financial secretary Sarawak. So we can also monitor into the Sarawak state. There is a department called State Financial Secretary Sarawak, whereby their job is to look into companies or stocks in, I think, in the whole world, look into and see what are the good opportunity for them to invest so that they can have incomes from the investment. So I gathered data for like 2021, 22, 23, and 24. 24, I didn't put inside because this is based on the annual report. So for Affin Bank in 2023, if you look at the top 30 shareholders, you see that State Financial Secretary Sarawak appears 4.78%. They hold Affin Bank 4.78%. Okay, Petronas Dagangan had been the same 0.2, MISC the same, Bintulu Port the same, Sarawak Plantation the same, RS Sawit the same, Sarawak Oil Plantation, I think they decreased because of the shares increase, so it's actually the same. For Serba Dynamic, they actually divest. If you guys are aware, Serba Dynamic, some of the accounting issues, so State Financial Secretary actually removed divest from there. And the reason one, the Affin Bank, because I think Avanjo did mention that they want to venture into a few things. They want to have a bank of Sarawak Bank by their own. They want to have their own airline, and there's also a few other things that they mentioned. Okay, so the Affin Bank in the latest 2024, they actually increased to 31% from 4.8% to 31%. So it's already like one of the major shareholder. You imagine from 4.8 to 31, how much cash you need to put into to own to increase the stake. So I think something is happening there between Sarawak and also Affin Bank. But definitely, if I were to add on another table with the year 2024, okay, you can see that Affin is increased to 31%. And also recently, I think in the first quarter of the year, January or February, Sarawak mentioned that they bought over Maswing, and then there's a name for it called Air Borneo. So with the target to boost up the tourism, Air Borneo is actually aiming to go to a few countries. For example, identify 6 destinations. South Korea, I think a lot of people now very gila about the K drama, K-pop, South Korea, Japan just above us, Hong Kong, Bangkok, Jakarta, and Frankfurt, Germany. So these are just the planned regional operation for Sarawak Air Borneo. But a lot of things, because we are just retail investors, we don't have much information or much in-depth or insights about what's happening. But definitely by focusing at the newspaper and listening to the news, we might get some information about that. Okay. Yep. So yeah. Okay. Alia, if you are online, I think I'll pass it to Q&A. I think okay. So for the Bursa Equity Trading Simulator, I think because now the Bursa Simulator, they are having some migration into my Bursa. So I think I will skip this ETS. But yeah, this is okay. Wonderful thing about Bursa is they have a ETS, the Bursa Academy, which if you follow my past webinars with Bursa, I do introduce about equity trading simulator, whereby you can simulate. You have been given 1 million to buy shares to train yourself fundamentals and also technical. So yeah, this is just a normal platform that you have there because they are using end-to-end platform. So these are just some layout. I mean some functions that you can use. So actually, Bursa is very considerate for retail investors, how we can improve our investing skills. Yeah. Okay. So Alia, going back to you for Q&A.
Alright. Can you please unshare the screen?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Stop sharing. Okay. Yep, unshared.
Okay.
All right.
So thank you, Mr. Johnny Tiong, for your invaluable insight just now and wonderful sharing with us earlier. We will now proceed to the Q&A session, and I encourage all attendees to submit any question you may have in the Q&A box so that Mr. Johnny Tiong can address to your question accordingly.
Yep.
Okay, so we got first question. What is your opinion on future business potential of AIZO in Sarawak? Example in these 2 years.
Okay. Hi Phil. Sorry for that. I do not really look into the company because I only know the sector, but I didn't really look into their segment or the future prospect on that. But then, however, maybe I can answer that in my Facebook group investor. I mean, if I did some, if I will do some studies on ISO on the Mindtech because now as far as I remember, one of their shareholders, which is also Serba Dynamic shareholder, once they pull out, then it's lack of some sparks for the investment stock or on the counter. But oh, I forget to mention the counters that I mentioned just now. Okay, one thing about Sarawak counters are they are lack of volume. There are not much volume on the Sarawak related stocks. So that's why we often see there are good, okay, for example, Ibraco announced a few good contracts, how many millions or how many billions, but then there are not many volume attracted to buy those shares. So maybe this is some of the issue why sometimes when the stock they announce good contracts, a lot of handsome profit or something good news, but then there are not many stocks buy into that. There are not many attention buys goes into those stocks because of lack of volume. Yeah, so feel sorry for that. So if I do cover, I will post it in my Facebook group.
All right. So for next question is, what is the prospect of JTIAS?
Jayatiasa, yeah,
Oh, that's okay.
Jayatiasa is also close to my heart because Jayatiasa building is the one in Cebu where we have Twin Tower. Okay, they have two blocks, then they have a bridge in the center, so we call it Twin Tower also. Okay, for Jayatiasa, because there's a palm oil industry, so but definitely for me, I will be favoring palm oil industry because now the palm oil industry, the price for CPO is quite good. But if I will look at the free cash flow for Jayatiasa, the one I have just now, it is looking good. But then for Jayatiasa, since it's a subsidiary for Rimbunan Sawit, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I know Subo Tiasa, Jayatiasa, Rimbunan Sawit, all are related. So in terms of the plantation area for Jayatiasa, I'm not sure. But then I think for the free cash flow, Jayatiasa looks good and they have better opportunities among the palm oil industry. But then do take a look at the the age of the trees because all the trees, the palm oil industry, the trees need to be replanted after 25 years. So after 25 years, you can imagine, let's say your tree is gonna enter the area to the zone of 25 years. So you need to start replanting. So when you start replanting, you basically don't have much palm oil. You don't have much CPO. So your revenue are gonna dip a bit, net profit gonna slow a bit. So just need to make sure that the replanting is going nicely there. Yep.
All
So
right.
that, yep.
I'm sorry. Ada lagi?
It's okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So next, if I understand correctly, INNO is also belong to Sarawak Plantation CO.
Hi, Patrick. Yeah. No, no. Price is actually a Sabah plantation stock. It's a Sabah. It's a Sabah, not Sarawak. Sabah is on the other side. Sarawak is the one at the other side. Don't get confused. I often get confused when people say, even my mother-in-law always thought I'm from Sabah. Then I say, no, I'm from Sarawak. Sarawak, not Sabah. Okay, so Sarawak is two different. For price is coming from it's a Sabah. It's a Sabah palm oil industry, not Sarawak.
Okay, so next question. What is the best recommendation in terms of good investment into Sarawak plantation stock and why?
Okay, Patrick, thanks for your question. I saw your comment. Sarawak is SA, bukan SE. Okay, my recommendation in terms of good investment into Sarawak plantation. Okay, I think now first let's study into whether, I mean, this is just step by step. Let's study into whether can palm oil be turned into aviation fuel or not. First, let's get that clarified, done and dusted. Says, let's say if palm oil industry can turn into aviation fuel, okay, next, then we look into the Sarawak palm oil industry. We can look into Sabah or either Sarawak because we need to see whether which part of the palm oil industry can be turned into aviation fuel. Let's say because palm oil industry, there's two biomass, one coming from the plantation, one coming from the mill. Mill meaning to say all those they produce the meal, they produce after they produce, they extract out the CPO, the crude palm oil. Then you have a lot of waste, EFB, you name it, mesocarp fiber, palm kernel shell. So those are from the mills. So if let's say the mills, the biomass from the mills can produce aviation fuel, then Sabah palm oil industry, Sabah counters, palm oil counters are the one that you need to zoom into. Let's say if they talk about, let's say the biomass from the plantation is the down, which is called the frond, and also the trunks. If those can be converted into aviation fuel, then Sarawak is the place that you can look into because Sarawak there's a lot of land, and also look into the replanting program. So first, technology, if they can turn the biomass into the aviation fuel, is, let's say if it's proven, okay, plantation. Second is about where is the biomass coming from? Is it the plantation biomass or the mill biomass? Okay, so once we confirm that, then we look into the future prospect. Okay, because in the annual report, you can look into the management discussion and also future prospect from the annual report. If the companies talk about their plan to venture into bioenergy or to go into value-added products, so those are the companies that we can invest. But then, not to say invest and then we'll get the return in 1 or 2 years. I don't think so. I think because it will take for you to build a plant to produce aviation fuel, it takes around 3 to 4 years. And even you need to source for the market. But I think now for aviation fuel is quite popular. So people are willing to pay high premium, I mean, for the aviation fuel. Now we just step one, step two, step three, and see who is the fastest, who can bear the low hanging fruit, and who can go into to invest in the technology. Which that's why the free cash flow comes in. If your company have free cash flow, then you can venture, you can buy, you can hire the consultant, or sorry, the technology provider to come and build a plant for you, design the whole plant so you can venture into the market. And another thing is actually if your plant is should be built near to the port. Okay, because if not, once you produce the aviation fuel, how are you going to transport out? So the whole ecosystem should be there. So far now for Sarawak, I haven't seen that ecosystem yet. So yeah, so Patrick, to answer for you, to give an answer for you, those are the steps. First, we see whether is it proven technology. Second, which biomass is it coming from? Third, and then which companies are the one that talk about this, they want to venture into this. Number four, and then let's follow up the news. Yep.
All right. So next question. Sarawak Energy Berhad is similar to TNB as energy or power provider, and Sarawak SEDC is the driver for green energy hub. So which Sarawak stock counter that represent energy provider or energy transition?
From Kennedy, right?
Mm. Yep.
Okay, Sarawak Energy. Okay, sorry, I read through the Sarawak Energy similar to TNB, correct? Sarawak, we have a SEB called Sarawak Energy similar to TNB. So Sarawak SEDC is a driver for green energy hub, correct? Especially on the green hydrogen, okay, and also the biomass projects that they are currently working on. So which Sarawak stock counters that represent energy provider energy transition? Okay, if I'm not mistaken, Sarawak Energy invests into Sarawak Cable, S Cable. There's a company called S Cable. But however, S Cable had not been producing profit, had not been generating profit. So it's sadly because for me, Sarawak Cable are producing cables, and I mean they're on the cable industry. So for all this energy, definitely you need a lot of cables. Okay, whatever, when you produce, you need cables to connect. It's just our USB. You have the charger, you have your phone, so you definitely need a cable to link from your source to wherever you want your product to be. So cable are important, but just sadly Sarawak Cable didn't play that potential. So um the question just now is from the Sarawak Energy about the energy transition. As of now, I can see the construction sector, for example, CMSP producing concrete, quality also the concrete. So anything to do with infrastructure and construction, we worth to look at it. And then for as far as I remember, for the hydrogen, because they Sarawak SCDC award out to Korea and also Japan company, Lotte and also Sumitomo, to build a hydrogen plant. The project is called Hibiscus and also Hornbill project. So they they are building the project. Mostly they are the technology provider and also the construction company. But I do not know whether when they build the building itself, they are definitely utilizing local contractors, local companies. Maybe CMSP will be benefit from that. I don't know what had been, I don't know the progress, and I don't know how much had been built and how much these companies are benefiting from there. So I will not, Kennedy, I'm sorry for that. But I think can zoom into construction counters.
Okay. John, so Mr. Johnny, can you please explain more about on ETS?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I need to reshare my screen. I'll just reshare my screen. So wait a moment. Reshare. Yeah, can see my screen, Alia?
Yep. Can.
Yeah. Okay. So this is basically the ETS that we have, because now is going to migration. So to a new platform called My Busa. So can take a look at that. So okay, for this ETS, it's actually simulating the real platform that we have, the real trading platform that we have. So this is the setup or the setting that I have. So you can see. So I'll just go through this one. Inside the Bursa Academy, you have the control panel whereby you have the quote, the watch list, the stock info, and you can key in. You want to see your portfolio, how much you have money, your order book, what are the counters that you have buy or state there, and then the settings, your portfolio. Okay, the quote is whereby you want to key. For example, you want to buy CCK. I want to see the stock information for CCK. So stock is the quote is whereby you key in your numbers, your stock name. Okay. Then down here we have the highlight. Highlight here meaning to say for the Bursa, okay, on that particular day, how many trading volumes, how many trading value have been invested. Is it a bull day or a bullish day, or bearish day? So from this day, we have 678, 678 green, meaning to say 678 counters are bullish today. 258 is dropping. So 355 is the same. So it's neither up or down, it's the same 355. And 1019 is actually untraded, meaning to say nobody go and trade that counter or warrant. Okay. So number three is actually the windows. One good thing about this, I can call out the window. So the windows is I can have a few more windows if you want to like those professional with 6 monitors. So this windows is similar like that. So I have 3 windows here. One is the daily chart. Sorry, one is the chart analysis chart. It's not daily chart, sorry. It's just a chart. And then I know what is this counter. I mean, for this one, this is call warrant. So what who issue it, what is the value, blah blah blah. A lot of information coming from here. So so I have three windows. So one window to look at the quote, second window to look at the chart, and the third window to look at the fundamental information. So I have the tab here also. So tab So I can have a lot of tab. I can have this analysis chart as a tab in the first window. I can do that also. So it's just basically how you familiarize with yourself with that and how you want to customize your own. Okay. So yeah. So some of the important signs I just go through. So we have a pop-up whereby the pop-up window, and then with the combine whereby it can become a tab, with a full window bar, with a floating window, whereby you have windows floating on top of each other. So these are just normal with collapse and also expand. Yeah. So yeah, but before this, I mean, before prior to the migration, I'll talk about how do we change the layout, how can we add in the technical indicators, how do we buy and sell. So since it's under migration, maybe after when the system is stabilized, and I'll demo with everyone. Okay, Alia, back to you.
Can you unshare screen?
Share.
Yeah,
Sure,
yeah.
can.
All right. So back into the Q&A session. Okay. Mm. Hi, is there any potential development for hydrogen to marine sector in Sarawak?
Mm, hydrogen to marine. If let's say hydrogen directly to marine, no. But if hydrogen to methanol and to marine, yes, it can potentially be a fuel carrier. But then the the technology involving this already in the market. But then whether the price is attractive for the industry player, I mean for the shipping industry player. So that is one thing that we need to find out. But then let's say if those happen to benefit Sarah, is definitely will be the port. Mm.
Okay. So next question. The biofuel policy in Indonesia has been ramped up. What is your take on the biofuel tech uptake in Malaysia? Are we adopting the same tech? Is the Indian biofuel tech stable?
Thanks, Belinda, for your question. I know that currently they already have like 50% or 60% of the biodiesel is coming from the biofuel. So for me, it's a good opportunity because since they are ramping up they are ramping up, they are basically converting more biomass into biofuel. So meaning in my assumption, so you have lesser biomass for other countries. So if I were an investor, I know Indonesia now they have their own agenda, so they might not have enough biomass. So if I want to go to the country with more biomass without any further plan, Malaysia is the place I want to go. Because palm oil industry, Indonesia is the number one palm oil export in the world. Second is Malaysia, so I'll be looking at Malaysia. Yep.
Okay. So since we do not have much time left, we will just take two more questions. Can?
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Okay, so what roles does foreign direct investment FDI play in Sarawak growth, and how does it impact local business and investors?
About FDI, is it foreign?
Mm-mm. Yep.
Okay. Can you repeat the question again? Sorry.
Okay. What roles does foreign direct investment play in Sarawak growth, and how does it impact local businesses and investors?
Okay, if let's say FDI were to come in, definitely they'll be investing into an industry. For example, we talk about Sarawak Hydrogen. Let's say they are investing in because Sarawak is building capacity a plant for hydrogen. So when they have that fund coming in to support, and then how the money will be translated into the small SMEs is, so let's say they want to build something, definitely they need local local industry or local players to come and support in terms of building. Now they are providing the money, so they just need the local players to marry so that they can have the support. So this is how FDI comes in, how we translate it into how can it grow the local industry. So it's the money coming in, local to support and build.
Okay. For the last question, which industry in Sarawak are currently undervalued but have high growth potential?
For me, I would think that the plantation. But then this plantation is not the plantation CPO plantation. It's the plantation which the plantation company which who had the vision to turn into bioenergy or other value product. Those are the plantation that I mean. Those are the undervalued sector. But then now currently in Sarawak palm oil industry or any palm oil industry in Malaysia, we haven't seen that. But then I know that Gatrier or Sime Darby currently have a plan towards that, and also FGV has a plan towards that. So, but it haven't been translated to the palm oil industry in Malaysia. Sabah, Sarawak, most mills and also most plantation respectively. So far, we haven't seen any initiative taken towards that. So keep an eye on that. If they are venturing into value-added product, in which I think Sarawak will be the first one to go, because since Abanjo is stressing a lot on bioenergy and the demand for bioenergy is there in Sarawak. So if palm oil industry are ready to pick it up, then I think Sarawak palm oil companies will be a good one to be invest.
All right. So, we would like to sincerely thank Mr. Johnny Tiong for taking the time to respond to the question asked. And I hope that all of you have acquired new and useful knowledge from this session. May this insight shared today prove to be advantageous in your investment and trading pursuit. Okay. So I would also like to take this opportunity to announce our upcoming webinar, which will be conducted in Mandarin, that will be scheduled on Monday, 7th of April 2025 from 8:30 p.m. until 10 p.m. If you are interested in joining this informative session, please register using the link shared in the chat box. Lastly, for those who have yet to open a stock trading account or you are looking to open a new stock trading account, you can scan and fill out this interest form and we will try our best to connect you with the right broker accordingly. With this, we have concluded our session. Thank you everyone for joining and have a good day ahead. Thank you, Mr. Johnny.
Okay, thanks, Alia.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.